Hello guys, welcome back to another Android application development tutorial. In this video, we are going to learn about how to integrate Google Sign-in with your Android application. Open Android Studio and start a new Android Studio project. Specify your application name. Here I name it as Google Sign-in Demo. Select an empty activity, click Finish. Okay, now here the project is created. Open manifest folder, open Android manifest.xml. First here I'm going to add the internet permission for this application. Okay, now we need to create a project in Google Developer Console. So for enable Google sign-in with your Android app, you need two projects. First one is an Android Studio project that we already created. Now we need to create a project in Google Developer Console. So first here I'm going to copy the package name. Now open your browser. Go to Google Developer Console. Here I'm going to create a new project. Create a new project. Specify your project name. I name it as Google Sign-in Demo and create it. Okay, now the project is created. Now go to the Google official document, Android Google Sign-in. Go to the official documents by Google. Now you need to get a configuration file. It is a JSON file. You need to add this JSON configuration file to your Android Studio project. So for getting this JSON configuration file, you need to provide your application package name. Also, you need to provide your sign-in certificate. That means SHA1 certificate. So if you want to publish your app on Google Play Store, you need to use the key tool and your releasing key store for obtaining the SHA1 certificate fingerprint. But here I'm going to use this project only training purpose, so I have to use the debug key store. So click this button. First here you need to select a project from Google Developer Console. This is our most recent project, Google Sign-in Demo. And here you need to specify your application package name. And click this option, and here you need to select the country. And choose and configure services. Now for enable Google sign-in, you need to get SHA1 certificate fingerprint. So you can get the SHA1 certificate fingerprint by using the key tool with JDK and debug key store with Android SDK. But it is very easy to get the SHA1 certificate fingerprint from Android Studio. So on the right side here is a Gradle option. Select that one, and here you can see a refresh button is available here. So click that button. Now select the root one. Here is the root file. From that expand the Android folder, and here is the sign-in report. So here is the SHA1 certificate fingerprint. So this is the simple way to get the SHA1 certificate fingerprint from Android Studio. But you can use your command prompt and debug key store and key tool with Android SDK, Java SDK for generating this SHA1 certificate fingerprint. So here I just simply use the Android Studio for get that one. So copy this one. Now go to your browser, and you need to provide your SHA1 certificate fingerprint here. Now enable Google sign-in. Now for this project, now Google sign-in is enabled. Now we need to get the configuration file. So click this one, continue to generate configuration file. Now you can download the JSON file. So now open the downloaded file, copy this file. Now you need to add this file to Android Studio. For that, first thing here, I'm going to change the app view into project. Now you need to place that file within the app folder of your project. So I paste it here. Now the JSON file available on the app folder of our Android Studio project. Now I change this one into Android. So for enabling Google sign-in, you need to add some dependencies. You need to add some plugins and dependencies. So again, go to the official documents. Now continue adding sign-in. So now you need to add these plugins. You need to add this dependency to the build Gradle file. That means project level Gradle file. So copy this line. Now go to the dependency files, open project level module file and add the dependency section. Now you need to add this plugin to the app level build Gradle file. So copy this one and open module level, that means app level build Gradle file, and add that one to the bottom of this file. And now you need to add the dependency for using Google Play service. So before going to add the dependency, you need to make sure that you install the Google Play service. So go to tools and open SDK manager, open standalone SDK manager, go to the bottom of this window, and here is the Google Play services. It is already installed. The first thing you need to make sure that you already installed Google Play services with your Android SDK. So in my case, it is already installed. Okay, now we can add a dependency for using Google Play service. So you need to copy this one. Yeah, here it is. Copy this dependency. Now open module level Gradle file and add the dependency to the dependency section. So for this project, to display the profile picture of the user, I'm going to using Glide. So for using Glide, we are going to use Glide for download the profile picture from Google server. So you need to add the dependency for using Glide. So here is the dependency for using Glide. Okay, now we add all the needed dependency for enable sign in Google sign in for your Android Studio project. So now we can sync the project, sync it. Okay, now the project sync finishes. Now we can close all the Gradle files. Okay, now we can make the UI of the app. So here is the root element is a relative layout, and there is a text view available. No need of that one. So here the root element is a relative layout. So I'm going to change that one into a linear layout. And there is no need of the margins. So I remove all the margin attributes. So now the root is a linear layout, and you have to provide an orientation for the layout. I specify orientation into vertical. Okay, here I place another linear layout with width match parent, height wrap content, orientation is horizontal, and ID for it profile section. Also specify margin on left side and top side. So for testing this layout, here I am going to add an image to this project. So here I add an image. Place the image on the drawable folder. Now here I'm going to add an image view to this newly created linear layout. Okay, here I place an image view with the width into 90 dp, height into wrap content, and ID for it is profile pic. And for testing, I just get an image from the drawable folder. So this image view is useful for displaying the user profile picture. So now we need to add some text view for display the username. That means the user display name and the email address. Okay, here I again place another linear layout with the width into wrap content, height wrap content. Specify some margin on the left side. Here the orientation is vertical. And in that linear layout, I place a text view. So this text view is for display the username. So with ID name, and here is another text view that display the user email address with ID email, and here is a button. The purpose of this button is to log out from the Google account with ID BL logout. So this is the user profile section. So after a successful login, Google sign in, we have to display this login section, login information. We have to display the user profile picture, user display name and user email, and we also provide a button to log out the user from the Google account. Okay, so now we need to add the sign in button for Google. That means Google sign up button. So add the sign in button for Google. Specify width into match parent. I specify height into wrap content, and specify a layout margin on top side into 60 dp. Specify margin on left side and right side. Margin right into 50 dp. Also specify margin on left side into 50 dp. And now we have to place an ID for this button. BN login. Okay, now we finished the UI part of the application. So here is the user profile section, and here is the sign in button. So the first thing, we have to hide the user profile section. We have to display the user profile section only after a successful login. So now we can start the coding section. So go to main activity.java. So first here I'm going to implement some interfaces. Implements. I'm going to implement some on-click listener. Now implement some interface for Google sign in. Google sign in API dot, it's not Google sign in API. One on connection failed listener. It is Google API client on connection failed listener. So here we implement two interfaces, on click listener and on connection failed listener. This is for the Google sign in. So now you need to add the needed implement. You need to implement the needed methods. This is the method for the on click listener. The method name is on click, and this is the method for the on connection failed listener. The method name is on connection failed, and you have to implement these two methods. Okay, so now here I'm going to declare some variables. First, declare some variables for linear layout. I name it as profile section. Now declare some button variables. It is sign out. Now specify the Google sign in button. It is sign in. Now declare variables for the text views, name and email. Now declare some buttons. Now declare variables for an image view. Name it as profile pic. Okay, that's it. Okay, one more thing. We have to declare some variables for Google sign-in API. Sorry, Google API client. I name it as Google API client. That's it. One more variable needed. Private. It's an integer. Private static. Final int. Request code. Specify an integer value for it. Now we can initialize these variables. So first initialize the linear layout variable. It is profile section. First typecast into linear layout. Now find it. It is profile section. Now we can initialize the sign out button. It is a normal button. Now find it. It is bn logout. Now specify. Now initialize the Google sign in button. So sign in. Typecast into Google sign in button. Now find it. Bn login. Okay, now we can initialize the text views. First one is name. It is a simple text view. Now find it. Now initialize the second text view. Now find it. It is email. One more thing, we have to initialize the image view. Profile pic. Typecast that one into image view. Now find it. It is profile pic. Okay. So now we can listen. Now we can register the buttons for the click listener. So the first one, sign in button. Sign in dot set on click listener into this. Now the sign out button. Sign out dot set on click listener into this. So the first thing, we have to hide the user profile section. We have to hide all this linear layout. The first thing, for first we have to display only the Google sign in button. So we have to display this area only after a successful login. So it is very simple. We can just hide the linear layout. That means the profile section. So profile section dot set visibility. Set the visibility into gone. So we can check it. Simply run the app. So now the application available on this virtual device, and here you can see it simply hide the user profile section. It will display only the Google sign in button. Okay, now we can finish the remaining code segments. So here we have to define some methods. The first method is for the sign in operation. Private void sign in. No parameter is needed for this method. And now define another method for the sign out. Now for handle this sign in result, declare another method, define another method, private void handle result. This method is for handle the sign in result. For this method we need one parameter, that is the Google sign in result. And now define another method for the update UI. And for this method we need one parameter, it is a boolean variable, is login. Okay, so these are the needed methods for the Google sign-in. So now we can handle the click events of the buttons. For handle the click events, here we override a method called onClick. So from this method, the first thing we have to identify which button is clicked by the user, whether it is the sign in or sign out button. For that, here I'm going to use a switch case statement. Get the ID of the button, get ID. Now we can start each case. First one is if it is r dot ID dot. If it is login button, in that case we have to call the sign in method, sign in and break. So now we can start the Google sign in. So before going to make the code for sign in, here you need to you have to initialize some variables. So the first one is you have to define some variables for sign in options. It is Google sign in options into new Google sign in options dot builder. Here you need to pass a parameter called default sign in. So this will return the basic user information such as user ID, user email, user profile picture, etc. And here we need the email, so you have to use a method called get request email and build it. Now you need to create, you have to initialize this variable, the Google API client. So Google API client equal to new Google API client dot builder. This, and now call a method called enable auto manage. For this method you need to pass two parameters. First one is the fragment activity. Now second one is the on connection failed listener. We handle that error within the same class, so you have to pass this for it. Now you have to add the API, add API. Specify the first parameter, it is authenticate dot Google sign in API. Now specify the Google API client object. Here it is sign in options and build it. Okay, so now we can start the sign in process. So we already create a method called the sign in. So here we have to create some indent. So create some indent variable. Authenticate dot Google sign in API dot get sign in indent, and here you need to pass your API client object. Here it is Google API client. Now we need to start an activity, so you have to start a method called the start activity for result. Start activity for result. First you have to specify the indent object. Now you need to specify the request code. We already create an integer variable with a request code on it, so you have to pass that variable request code. So if you start an activity by using a method called start activity for result, for return, for getting the result, you need to override another method called on. That method name is, I'm not sure about the method name. Yeah, this one is on activity result, that is the method name. So if you start an activity by using start activity for a result, you have to override a method called on activity result for receiving the result. So here check some condition. If the request code is equal to our request code, in that case we can receive the result. So here we have to declare some variables. Google sign in result, I name it as a result, into authenticate dot Google sign in API dot get sign in result from indent. And here you need to pass your data. Here the indent variable is data. So here we got the result. Now you can call the method for handle the result. So here we already define a method called handle result. So you can call that method. So handle result and pass the result. So now from this method we can handle the result. So here first I'm going to check some condition. If result dot is success, that means login success, in that case we have to get the information such as username, user email address and profile picture. So first create some variables for Google sign in account. Result dot get sign in account. Now we can get the data. First one is name, account dot get display name. Second one is email, account dot get email. Now we can get the image URL, img URL, account dot get photo URL, and you need to change into string. So now we can set the data on the UI components. First one, set the name on the text view, set text into name. Now set the email. So now we need to download the image from the Google server using Glide. So using Glide image loading library with activity, this activity, and load here the URL available on this variable called image URL, and into the image view. Here the image view is profile pic. Okay, so now we need to update the UI. We have to display the profile section. So you can here we already define a method called update UI. We can call that method update UI with parameter true. So if the login is failed or user logout, in such case we have to update the UI with parameter false. So now from the update UI method we need to update the UI. So here check some condition. If is login, that means user successfully login. In that case we have to display the user profile area. So here the linear layout, that is profile section dot set visibility into true, into visible. Okay, so at the same time we need to hide the Google sign in button. So here it is, sign in dot set visibility into gone. So the other case, that means if user log out or there is an error occur, in that case we have to display the Google sign in button again, and we have to hide the profile section. It is gone and this one visible. Okay, that's it. So now we finished the coding for Google sign in. Now we need to start coding for sign out. So here we need to consider the second button. So case .id don't be and log out. In that case, we have to call the method called sign out. Now break. Now we have to start coding for sign out. So authenticate dot Google sign in API dot sign out and pass the API client, Google API client dot set a result callback. Okay, here we need to update the UI with parameter false. Okay, now we finish the coding. Now we can test it. Okay, now we can run the application, run it. One more thing, for testing this application, you need an actual Android device with the Google Play service installed or an Android virtual device with the target Google API. So here is, this one is an Android virtual device with the Google API target. Now we can run it. So here is the Google sign in button. So now I am going to perform the sign in. From here you need to select a Google account. I select a Google account. So here it is. Here it will display the Google profile picture. Here is the display name. Here is the email address. Now I try to log out from the Google account. Try to log out. So now I successfully log out from Google account. Now again login. Select the profile. So this is how we integrate Google sign in to our Android project. I hope you understand all these concepts. If you like this video, please share your doubts and your opinion on the comment section. Please subscribe this channel for getting more Android video updates. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.